Fresh spruce tips. Gotta love the taste of spring. I'm just out for a little hike. I'm collecting some spruce tips, and the reason why I'm doing that today is because I'm going to be making homemade spruce tip beer. Stay tuned. So now it's the time of year to be harvesting lots of things. It's early spring, and one of the things I like to harvest are spruce tips. Well, let's take a look. Spruce tips are the very juvenile needles of the spruce tree. So they are extremely nutritious. They're especially high in vitamin C. And, that means that they're really good for, if you have a cold or, upper respiratory infection, things like that. So today I'm collecting some spruce tips. We're going to make some beer. Don't forget, always be 100% sure of what you are harvesting. There are lots of toxic wild edibles out there, and evergreens are no different. There are toxic evergreens out there, so you want to be 100% sure of your identification. You can, use a couple of reference books just to be sure you've got spruce. What do spruce tips taste like? Well, they have a very lemony flavor. It's actually quite pleasant. They can be used in lots of things, on salad. You can make syrups, vinegars, lots of different things. So if you like lemony flavor, I highly recommend this brew. So today the spruce tips will be combined with sugar and lemon and yeast, and we're going to be brewing a really tasty beer. It won't be ready to drink for the next 2 months, so that's why I'm getting this video out now, in case any of you want to start the brewing process. So this will be another fermentation that we're doing, and the results will be fantastic. I'm really excited. I'm going to put the recipe that I used down below in the description box. It's not my own recipe, it's one that I saw online, and I'm really excited to try it this year. I've really been getting heavily involved in wild fermentation, and since the spruce tips are out, let's give it a try. Other good resources for doing fermentations, making wild edible brews, is Pascal Baudard's book, and I'm also going to put that down below in the description box. All right, let's finish collecting, and we're going to head inside and let's get started on the brew. This will be a multi-part series, but right now I just want to show you how we set up the fermentation. In a clean and sanitized pot, I'm going to put 4 liters of distilled water. Looks like I'm going to need a bigger pot. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to put in 3 cups of brown sugar. Second one. It's right near the edge. Thought I had a bigger pot than this, but I don't, so I just have to boil it really slow. Right, there's my 3rd cup of brown sugar. Next, I'm going to put in the juice of 1 organic lemon. I like organic lemons because there's no fungicides or pesticides sort of put on them. And I've certainly had a fermentation that failed due to the pesticide, actually the fungicide within the rind. So I won't do that again. So I like to use everything pretty much organic for any fermentation that I'm doing. It's going to give it a nice citrus flavor and aid a little bit in the preservation of the brew. And last but not least, we're going to add the spruce tips. Here are the spruce tips. They're the very young greens of the spruce tree, so very good for you, very high in vitamins, including vitamin C. So we're going to add that into the wort right here. As you can see, it's just kind of warming up. So I'm going to add that in there. This is about, I would say, about 84 grams of spruce tips. You can have a bit more or a bit less, just depending on how sprucey you want it. And there we go. Now I'm going to boil this for about 30 minutes. Now that the 30 minutes is up, I'm going to put it in some cold water here. You can also put it in an ice bath. We want to get the temperature of the wort down to room temperature, so about 21 Celsius, so that we can add the yeast. Just want to take a sec to discuss the yeast I'll be using for this brew. This one is the llthewildyamll EC1118. It's actually a champagne yeast, and that's what it's called for in this recipe. And it's an excellent yeast, I'm told, and it produces a high quality fermentation. It's a very fast fermenter, and it also can produce up to 18% alcohol. So that will be a very strong brew by beer standards, that's for sure. Yeah, so this one is, creates a lot of, carbonation in the drink, and it works really, really quickly. So we'll be using a half a packet of this once the wort gets to about room temperature. Just want to show you I have a laser thermometer. So what I do is I just point this at the wort, and it's saying it's around 20.8. So we're ready to put it in the fermentation vessel. So now I have my sterilized 4-liter 1-gallon jug, and I also have a strainer right here in a funnel. And we're going to strain out obviously the spruce from the wort as best as we can. I mean, if there's a little bit of stuff in there, not a big deal. When you bottle it, you can also kind of do a secondary filtration. So just going to put the wort into the jug, and then we'll add the yeast. So there we go. We have it all in here. I dropped maybe about this much of the liquid on the table. The funnel leaked, unfortunately. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna add the yeast in there, and I'm gonna sort of cap it and just shake it up a little bit, and then we'll put in our airlock. Let's try to do this, about half a package. I kind of guess. All right, that looks about it. So I'm just going to cap it and agitate it for a bit, and then we'll get the airlock in. And we're good to go. So you can see I put a little bit of water in here so that when the fermentation gases come up through here, the carbon dioxide basically, it's going to basically bubble up through here and out through the top, but leave this sort of chamber sealed for the fermentation. So there we have it. This is the start of the Spruce Tip Beer. This is going to be a series, so this is part 1. Stay tuned. This is going to be fermenting now for up to about 3 weeks, and then we'll discuss the bottling process. Like all my fermentations, I'm going to put this in a warmish, like a room temperature area room, but I'm going to put it in a room where there's not a lot of windows, so it's going to be kind of in a dark place, because you don't want to, too much bright direct sunlight on your fermentation. 24 hours into the brew, and we're looking good. All right, thanks so much for watching today. As you saw, this is the setup for the fermentation. We're gonna leave it sit now for 3 weeks, and then we'll get into the bottling process. And of course, there'll be a follow-up video. Hope you guys have a wonderful week as always. Take care.